Awaken.
Awaken.
She was awakened by a noise at 2 in the morning.
Bill slept a little until he was awakened to take his turn on guard.
Early involvement in music can awaken an interest that will last a lifetime.
We must awaken people to the dangers for the environment.
Awakening.
Awakening.
It was during the period of 1943 to 1945 that his political awakening took place.
Confident that he would win, he had a rude awakening on election day.
Award.
Award.
The movie has won a number of awards. An award-winning restaurant. The award for Best Student.
The Teacher's Pay Award.
An award for unfair dismissal.
Moody has been awarded a golf scholarship at the University of Hawaii.
The judge awarded me first prize.
A Nobel Prize was awarded to Waxman in 1952.
The government awarded a German company the contract.
£45,000 was awarded to a typist with an injured hand.
Aware.
Aware.
The children are aware of the danger of taking drugs.
Mr. Brayley has been made aware of the need for absolute secrecy.
Were you aware that Joe had this problem with his knee?
They were well aware that the company was losing money.
As you are aware, a fee will be charged annually. She was aware of a tall, dark figure watching her. He was aware of the wind in his face.
Bill became aware that he was still holding his glass.
The socially aware novels of Dickens.
We should promote environmentally aware and responsible science.
As far as I am aware, they are a happily married couple.
Awareness.
Awareness.
Health officials have tried to raise awareness about AIDS. An artist's awareness of light and colour.
Awash.
Awash.
All the pavements were awash with rubbish.
Away.
Away.
Go away. Dinah was crying as she drove slowly away.
Stay away from the fire. She turned away and stared out of the window.
Charlie blushed and looked away, embarrassed.
Simon is away with flu. Kate is away on holiday.
You must bring a note from your parents if you've been away from school.
Geneva is about 20 miles away.
There's another hotel not far away. She was sitting 10 feet away from the microphone.
The beach is only 5 minutes away. Christmas is only a month away. At one stage, they were just 2 points away from victory.
Put your money away. I'm paying.
Thousands of archaeological treasures are being kept hidden away.
The music died away. Reuben gave all his money away to charity.
Support for the Democrats has dropped away.
Cut away all the dead wood.
Sue was singing away to herself in the bath.
They've been hammering away all day.
You can dance the night away in one of Benidorm's many discos. Liverpool are playing away at Everton on Saturday.
Away.
Awe.
Awe.
He felt great awe for the landscape.
Kate gazed at the statue with awe. All of the neighbours were a little in awe of my mother.
The villagers hold them in awe and think of them as gods. An awed silence. The girls were awed by the splendour of the cathedral.
Awe-inspiring.
Awe-inspiring.
A truly awe-inspiring achievement.
Awesome.
Awesome.
An awesome responsibility. The awesome sweep of the scenery.
Their last concert was really awesome.
Awe-stricken.
Awe-stricken.
Awestruck.
Awestruck.
She gazed awestruck at the jewels.
Awful.
Awful.
The weather was awful.
He is a pretty awful driver. That fridge smells awful.
The last 6 months have been awful for her.
I've stopped believing most of what he says. Isn't that awful? I'm sure Susie is dead, but the awful thing is not knowing how it happened.
An awful lot of people died in the war. He made me feel an awful fool. She's lost a lot of weight and she looks awful.
That kid's awful cute with her red curls.
Awfully.
It's awfully cold in here. Is the heater on?
A while.
Awkward.
Awkward.
I hoped he would stop asking awkward questions. There was an awkward moment when she didn't know whether to shake his hand or kiss his cheek.
An awkward silence.
A laugh can help people over an awkward situation. Philip's remarks put her in an awkward position. She'd like to dance, but felt awkward if someone was watching her. Jeff looked uneasy and awkward. Make sure that the baby is not sleeping in an awkward position.
It'll be awkward getting cars in and out. The new financial arrangements were awkward to manage. A good carpenter can make a cupboard to fit the most awkward space. She was afraid he was going to ask an awkward question. I'm sorry to call it such an awkward time, but I won't keep you a minute. The staff wanted to go home and they were getting awkward about a meeting starting so late.
An awkward customer.
I'm very sorry about your sister, he said awkwardly.
Vera smiled awkwardly.
I'm very sorry about your sister, he said awkwardly.
He tried to smooth over the awkwardness of the situation.
All.
All.
Awning.
Awning.
Awoke.
Awoke.
Awoken.
Awoken.
AWOL.
AWOL.
2 soldiers had gone AWOL the night before.
Awry.
Awry.
My carefully laid plans had already gone awry.
He rushed out, hat awry.
Ah, shucks.
Aw shucks.
Axe.
Axe.
100 workers are facing the axe in a cost-cutting exercise.
MPs know there will be cuts in public spending, but do not know on which department the axe will fall. I need objective advice from someone with no axe to grind.
There are plans to axe 2,600 staff.
TV's longest-running show is to be axed.
Axiom.
Axiom.
Axiomatic.
Axiomatic.
Axis.
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 The Earth rotates on an axis between the North and South poles.
The axis of evil.
The axis of evil.
Axle.
Axle.
Axminster.
Axminster. Ayatollah.
Ayatollah.
I.
Ayurvedic medicine. Ayurvedic medicine.
Azalea.
Azalea.
AZT.
AZT.
Azure.
Azure.
B.
B.
I got a B in history. The advantages and disadvantages of choosing product A or B.
Andrew Lanham, born 1885.
BA.
BA.
He has a BA in French.
Susan Potter, BA.
Bar. Bar.
Babble.
Babble.
I have no idea what he was babbling on about.
The babble of a crowded party.
Babe.
Babe.
He was like a babe in the woods when he first came to New York.
Babble.
Babble.
A babel of French and Italian.
Baboon.
Baby.
Baby.
The baby is crying.
She gave birth to a baby on Thursday.
What do you think of your new baby sister?
Baby birds.
Baby carrots.
Baby sweet corn. Claire is the baby of the family.
Don't be a baby.
Don't ask me about the building contract. That's Robert's baby. This baby can reach speeds of 130 miles per hour.
Baby blues.
Baby blues.
Baby boom.
Baby boom.
The baby boom generation.
Baby boomer.
Baby boomer.
Baby buggy.
Baby buggy.
Baby carriage.
Baby carriage.
Baby daddy.
Baby daddy.
Baby-faced.
Baby-faced.
Baby grow.
Baby grow.
Babyhood.
Babyhood.
Babyish.
Babyish.
The games were a little babyish for 9-year-olds.
Baby milk.
Baby milk.
Baby moon. Baby moon.
Babysit.
Babysit.
A babysitting service.
Baby talk.
Baby talk.
Baby tooth.
Baby tooth.
Baby walker.
Baby walker.
Baccalaureate.
Baccalaureate.
Baccarat.
Baccarat.
Bacchanalian.
Bacchanalian.
A bacchanalian orgy.
Backy.
Backy.
Bachelor.
Bachelor.
Gerald was 38 and a confirmed bachelor.
The Crown Prince was Japan's most eligible bachelor.
Bachelor flat.
Bachelor flat.
Bachelor party.
Bachelor party.
Bachelor's degree.
Bachelor's degree.
Bacillus.
Bacillus.
Back.
Back.
I'll be back in a minute. Put that book back where you found it. Rory plugged the cable back into the socket.
I feel like going back to bed.
We ought to try and get back before it gets dark. He was back home by 11:30.
It's possible to travel there and back in a day. Gary woke at 4 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep.
It took me a long time to get my confidence back. If you decide to marry him, there will be no going back. There's no way I'm going back to being poor.
It'll take a while for things to get back to normal.
She was the one who had fired him from his first job back in South Africa.
It reminded me of evenings back home.
He glanced back at the house.
Kirov stepped back a pace. She tilted her head back to look at him. Can I call you back later?
I'll pay you back on Friday.
No thanks, he shouted back.
If he hits you, you just hit him back. Can we have our ball back, please?
I want all my books back as soon as you've finished with them.
Give me back that letter. It's none of your business.
A pile of newspapers dating back to the 1970s.
A lot of emotional problems can be traced back to childhood.
Looking back on it, I should have known he was unhappy.
At times I think back to my life in Moscow.
The house was built back in 1235. His wife died a couple of years back. He called me a while back.
Go back over your work to check for any mistakes.
Liverpool were back level again 2 minutes later with a superb goal. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
She pulled the bandage back very carefully.
Her hair was brushed back from her face.
The woman nodded and stood back, allowing Patrick to enter.
We travelled back and forth all the time between Canada and England.
He was pacing back and forth.
Turn back to the summaries at the end of section 1.5. Clicking on the icon will take you back to the previous web page. Wind the tape back to the beginning.
The cat arched its back and hissed. My feet were sore and my back was aching. Keep your head up and your back straight. To avoid back problems, always bend your knees when you lift heavy objects.
He lay on his back and gazed at the ceiling.
Johnny was lying flat on his back in the middle of the floor.
Anna stood with her back to the window. The girl appeared again, now with a little baby on her back.
He broke his back in a motorbike accident.
A t-shirt with a picture of a snake on the back.
He kissed her on the back of her head.
Her window faced the backs of the houses.
2 men were sitting in the back of the car. A small shop with an office at the back.
Kids should always wear seatbelts, even in back. Tom's working on the car out back.
Have you looked round the back?
Paul scribbled his address on the back of an envelope.
The credits are listed on the back of the album.
He rested his arm on the back of the sofa. The sports pages are usually at the back.
The answers are in the back of the book.
At the back of her mind was the thought that he might be with someone else. He tried to push these uncomfortable thoughts to the back of his mind. Stand back to back and we'll see who's tallest.
He performed up to 3 times a day, often back to back.
You've got your sweater on back to front. He got the commands back to front and the program didn't work. I don't like the idea of the 2 of them talking about me behind my back.
I should have realized that he'd go behind my back.
What are your kids up to when your back is turned?
Simone was the kind of person who was always putting people's backs up.
Maybe the only way to get him off my back is to tell him the truth.
Do me a favour and get off my back. Why are you and Dad always on my back?
The company should be able to generate business on the back of existing contracts. Economic prosperity was won on the backs of the urban poor. It's a nice little cottage, but it really is in the back of beyond. He was drunk and flat on his back on the street.
The UK market was flat on its back.
If we really put our backs into it, we could finish today.
No, I'm not too upset that he left. In fact, I was glad to see the back of him.
I can't wait to see the back of this project, I can tell you.
They had the wind at their backs as they set off. Caesar marched into Rome with an army at his back. A high-backed chair.
The scheme has been backed by several major companies in the region.
Some suspected that the rebellion was backed and financed by the U.S.
Government-backed loans.
His claims are not backed by any scientific evidence.
She backed into a doorway to let the crowds pass by. He began to back her towards the open door. I backed the car into the garage.
The photograph is backed with cardboard.
A plastic-backed shower curtain.
The Jandia Peninsula is a stretch of white sands backed by a mountain range.
They performed all their hits backed by a 40-piece orchestra. She backed away from the menacing look on his face.
The government has backed away from its nuclear weapons strategy.
Both sides have refused to back down. She backed off and then turned and ran.
I think you should back off for a while.
Back off, Mark. Let me run my own life.
Jerry backed off when he realized how much work was involved.
The company has backed off from investing new money.
The hotel backs onto St. Mark's Square. It's too late to back out now.
After you've signed the contract, it will be impossible to back out. The government is trying to back out of its commitment to reduce pollution. Jane would back me up if she were here.
There's no evidence to back up his accusations. These theories have not been backed up by research. The plan's success depends on how vigorously the UN will back it up with action.
The police officers are backed up by extra teams of people at the weekend.
Make sure you back up.
These devices can back up the whole system.
Back all your files up onto a storage device or cloud.
The truck stopped and then backed up. I backed the car up a little.
Back up a bit so that everyone can see.
The traffic was starting to back up in both directions.
You'll be sleeping in the back bedroom.
Turn to the back page.
I keep my keys in my back pocket. There was the sound of giggling from the back row.
The rabbit had one of its back legs caught in a trap.
The back garden.
We left by the back gate.
The back view of the hotel was even less appealing than the front.
A short cut down a back lane.
Backache.
Backache.
Backbench.
Backbench.
He has the support of a lot of backbench MPs. A backbench revolt.
Backbencher.
Backbencher.
Backbenches.
Backbenches.
Backbiting.
Backbiting.
All this backbiting is destroying company morale.
Backboard.
Backboard.
Backbone.
Backbone.
Farmers are the backbone of this community. Stuart doesn't have the backbone to be a good manager.
Backbreaking.
Backbreaking. Backbreaking.
Backburner.
Backburner.
Alison backburnered her prestigious law career when she had a baby.
The project has been backburnered.
Back catalogue.
Back catalogue.
Backchat.
Backchat.
None of your backchat, do your homework.
Backcloth.
Backcloth.
Backcomb.
Backcomb.
Backcountry.
Backcountry.
Backdate.
Backdate.
The pay increase will be backdated to January.
Backdoor.
Backdoor.
His father works there, so he got in through the back door.
Backdoor.
Backdoor.
A backdoor tax rise.
Backdrop.
Backdrop.
The sea made a splendid backdrop to the garden. A love story set against a backdrop of war and despair.
Back-end.
Back-end. Back-end software.
Backer.
Backer.
We're still trying to find backers for the housing development scheme.
Backfire.
Backfire.
The company's new policy backfired when a number of employees threatened to quit.
Backformation.
Backformation.
Backgammon.
Backgammon.
Background.
Background.
Students with a background in chemistry will probably find the course easier. It's important to understand other people, people from different backgrounds.
Do you know anything about his background?
Without knowing the background to the case, I couldn't possibly comment.
The peace talks are being held against a background of increasing violence.
The author included a new chapter of background material for the second edition of the book.
The background looks out of focus. In the background, you can see my college friends.
Red lettering on a white background.
The president's advisors are content to remain in the background.
In the background, I could hear the sound of traffic.
All of the background noise made it difficult to have a phone conversation.